Hello and welcome back, most illustrious members of the Detail. I've missed you, as I'm sure you've missed me. Today, we're going to talk about the deck I used to hit rank 100, the fastest I've ever hit it, why that happened, because it wasn't strictly a matter of skill, and we're going to talk about a sort of format warping bug for this season. We're going to talk about the OTA patch, and we're just going to get into it. We have a lot to kind of catch up on. I hope you enjoy. Just before we start, thank you so much for the support on my last video, the Final Fantasy VII video. There's going to be more videos like that, and I really appreciate that you seemingly just kind of want to stick around. It's super cool. If you're here from that video, this is my normal type of content. I play Marvel Snap. I play a lot of card games. I believe I'm going to start divesting and also playing Magic the Gathering because I kind of miss it, and there's a format I really want to play more of. But for right now, if you want to see any of that, all of it, or none of it, and you're having a great Pride Month, and you want to support a Pride person, part of the color army, the only bravest soldiers on the planet, you can subscribe down below, or join the Discord is another big one, because I love hearing directly from people, and it's oftentimes hard to respond on YouTube, but if you are on the Discord, I will always get back to you. Okay, so you can see here, I hit rank 100. Now, like I said, this wasn't strictly a skill issue. I played pretty tight. I did pretty well. I mean, we hit it pretty fast, but there was a bug, just so you know. So I don't know the specifics of it, but if you hit a certain rank above infinite, when you reset, it put you down to 93 instead of 73, which is normally, no matter how high you climb into infinite, you'll be reset down to 73 upon reset. But yeah, but I hit 120 last season, and so it reset me to 93. But realistically, I feel like I wish that's how it worked. If I do all the extra work of climbing up to 120, I know it's yeah, the rich get richer. I know how bad that could suck. It could even kind of take away maybe from the drive to, oh, well, I just hit 130 every season and then quit because I'll reset down to 100. But it's not that easy. I don't know what to tell you. Hitting 120, I felt pretty good about, because it's a lot. This is competitive up here. So the deck that got me here is Bounce. It's Bounce without Darkhawk, because I still don't have Darkhawk, though he works really well with Bast. I kind of refuse to buy him at this point on principle. They did announce he won't be dropping this pool drop, so I know I'm not getting him, other than out of a random cache. But I'm just not doing. I'm kind of upset by that choice. So I'm still playing a suboptimal list, and it's still doing fine. I literally played this exact list, Maria Hill and all, to infinite. So I warmly invite you to try lists that are reasonable. There are lists that just aren't that good. You can't just kind of be oh yeah, I'm gonna play a deck where I try to play Hawkeye 6 times and give him +2 power every time. That's cool. I hope you play that deck. I hope that it brings you joy. But if you play a sort of a reasonable shell with kind of one-offs that you're yeah, I like this card, I think it kind of fits in and it gives me an edge in weird corner cases, you can do it. I believe in you. If you have questions, again, the Discord's a great way to ask those, because I can answer them directly. But ultimately, I think really, really tight play and just being able to put your opponent on the back foot as far as this deck's really good at making it hard for your opponent to figure out where you're going to deploy power on 6. And so they sometimes have to take what they think are 50-50s, but actually you're deploying way more power than they understand because of Hitmonkey and Mysterio having gotten hit by Bast and maybe beasted back. yeah, the deck's sick. So I have literally no footage. I hit infinite so fast that I wasn't really thinking about recording footage. I was just kind of playing like between my day job and my Pride events that I have to go to. So sorry, there's no gameplay footage of me hitting infinite this season. I'm so sorry. So this does lead us though into the OTA patch. I'm gonna pull that up. Give me a second. Hard cut here. So here is the most recent balance patch. The reason it is relevant is because of the card that I had on screen before the hard cut. Beast used to be a 2/2 that bounced all the cards in the lane back, and they cost 1 less. Now is a 3/4 that bounced all the lanes, all the cards in that lane, and they cost 1 less. So Beast hitting, they do outline it pretty precisely, which is like Kitty Pryde and Hitmonkey are just really good hits on Beast. And the fact that on turn 4 you could just go like basically a naked Hitmonkey into a Beast, and like you know, if you didn't hit Kitty Pryde, that was fine. Like, you know, the fact that you could get a 1-cost Hitmonkey plus, you know, incidentally maybe get a 0-cost 1-drop that just happened to already be in that lane was really difficult to play around. It's still like you can still do that on 5. You can go Hitmonkey into Beast on 5. It's like not the worst nerf. It's interesting because now Bast reduces his power, but like ultimately this nerf didn't really affect that deck. It made it like more reasonable in a lot of ways, but ultimately nothing that you cannot like play around. Then we'll go, so that was like the big, I guess technically there's a second nerf, but like this one fucking doesn't matter. They also nerfed, I'm gonna say nerfed Spider-Man. They made Spider-Man a 5/4 with the same on reveal. So the thing is, like, Professor X is a 5/3 that strictly locks the location down. I say strictly, Jeff exists, but outside of Jeff, right? Like, Spider-Man, you can still get a Doombot into that location, or some, you know, some amount of other plays can get into the Spider-Man location. So, like, in a lot of ways, it's just a worse Professor X. There's also not an ongoing, so Professor X has that as like a marginal bonus because you can get Spectrum can apply power to that lane. That's very marginal. The thing that I don't like about this is that it doesn't allow, so I know they did it, they're saying because of high evo, right? Because on 5 you would play Spider-Man while also floating 1 energy. And that was really strong for high evo because it meant Cyclops and Hulk could pump for that turn. And like if you were already ahead there, well, now your Hulk is guaranteed basically to win either of the other lanes. Cyclops is giving minus power, you know, all that. So for all those reasons, that's fine. I understand what they're doing. But the thing is, this means that like trying to use Spider-Man to counterplay Galactus is worse, because there's, you know, if you're playing the Spider-Man in the high evo deck, it's also one of your marginal plays against Galactus, because if they go Galactus on 4 via wave, then Spider-Man on 5, and then just play out whatever on 6, right? Null, whatever. You had an out, because if you had Spider-Man and you were playing the float deck, you could go Spider-Man Nebula or Spider-Man Sunspot and on 5. And so now your Nebula or Sunspot would end up being 1 power or some amount of power bigger than their Galactus on 6. And you had an out to the Galactus deck. Now, your Hulk is still okay, but the point is, if they're Spider-Manning you, they're winning. Because, like, you know, they usually Galactus the empty lane, and some amount of the time you have to play the game of 50-50. Sometimes you have better odds than that. And, you know, if they're waving, you can put down your Hulk in the hopes of, like, getting out ahead of them. But, like, if they Spider-Man, you kind of have to retreat. Because even if you put Hulk down, well, they might have Shang. They very likely have Shang. And so then they win again, right? So, like, I don't like the play patterns of Galactus, and I don't like that this limits how you can play against Galactus to take advantage of their greedy play pattern using your own counter play pattern of the same type. And I don't really love that, but it is what it is. I haven't like had issues with this yet, like with opponents like getting me with Spider-Man or anything. I've seen Spider-Man get played more, but like at least for right now, I think a lot of people are playing Spider-Man who weren't playing him, thinking that this is just like, oh my god, he's just better now, he's just buffed. And they're kind of misplaying him, so that might be alleviated as people get more used to the play patterns of Spider-Man. But for right now, I think people are just playing him because, like, this kind of looks like a buff if you don't know anything about Spider-Man. And so, yeah, alright, cool. So the hood is now a -3 instead of a -2. Like, also, I don't know, I should check if it now actually reads like this with 2 periods instead of 1. I doubt it, but maybe they added that as well. It should be add a demon to your hand, ... That would be ominous. Yeah, they're like, this is actually a buff to Viper decks. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're leaving Hood on the field, like, I do this sometimes. I will leave Hood on the field periodically in the bounce deck, or like replay it on the last turn just to give my Bishop and my Collector +1. But I'm throwing it into the lane that I'm giving up anyway. Like, yeah, okay, I have, you know, one of my 0 power Mysterio clones is going there, plus this fucking -3. It's literally just going there to pump up my other cards. I do not care about that lane. So, this isn't really a buff or a nerf. Like, if you're relying on the fact that it was only, quote-unquote, -2 to gain some kind of advantage, you're fucking up. Just don't leave Hood around. Play a deck where you're actually taking advantage of destroying this body, or, you know, eating it with Carnage, or sending it with Viper, whatever. Don't just play out Hood and then play out Demon. And, like, yeah, it's bad. You shouldn't be doing it. Rogue is a 3/2 now. Fine. Like, you know, like I say, these are my favorite kinds of OTA moves. Is just like, yep, like, it's a slight buff to a card that's underutilized, and it's buffed in a way that, like, you know, makes sense. It needed 1 more power. Rogue might even need, 1 more might be pushing it. A 3/3 might be pushing it, but, like, honestly, is like, as a tech card, right? Like, Killmonger's like a 3/3 that sometimes is really good and sometimes isn't good at all. It's like Rogue, what is like, Rogue could be a 3/3 that's sometimes really good and sometimes not good at all, right? Is that not reasonable? I don't know. It seems reasonable to me. Medusa, I'm pretty excited about this one. I might play Medusa. She's a 2/5 if you play her in the middle location instead of a 2/4. She's just the generic good card throughout Pool 2. Medusa was one of my most played cards because, like, you know, Medusa and Lizard and stuff, it's just really hard for your opponent, especially in Pool 2 where there's not, like, very strong engines to, like, outpower these cards. Of, like, you know, yeah, look how much fucking power I'm putting on the field. Like, can you keep up? Probably not. You're trying to do some wacky shit over there with discard, and I'm just, like, playing reasonable 2/5s now. Look which one of us won. She's seen no play in Pool 3+, so this might change it, but, like, probably not. Honestly, Medusa's probably still not good enough. Anything that says at the middle location, this could be like, if it's the first card you play here or something, you know, on reveal, if this is the first card at this location on your side or something, give it +3 power. That could be more interesting. I think they need to kind of get away from middle location stuff, and they already did that with Crystal, right? Crystal just draws each player a card now, and is a 4/4, and, like, still isn't really seeing any play, but, you know, is at least a more interesting card. It could be something like that. That's it. So that's all of it. Play bounce. The OTA patch is fine. I didn't buy the season pass this month because I'm not like a fan of move cards. I think that they shine mostly in non-move decks, and I think that's true of this one as well. If you want my thoughts on that, hang on, we'll do a hard cut here. So this is the season pass card. Ghost Spider. She's a 2/3. On reveal, the last card. On reveal, why is it phrased like that? The last card you played moves here. She yoinks the card you played right before her, as opposed to Iron Fist, who punches the card you play right after him. So like in a lot of ways she's better than Iron Fist. Like in a dedicated move deck, you're gonna want both. But like Heimdall, I think Ghost Spider is best as a surprise card. She is best not really in a deck that's dedicated to move, but in a deck where like your opponent thinks that you overcommitted to flooding by playing a Maximus into their flooding, and they're like, oh, all right, cool, like they overcommitted, and then you're like, yoink, Maximus is actually over here now. I didn't overcommit. I mean, I did, but I'm allowed to make that mistake because I had Ghost Spider. Something like that. I don't think she's like the best card that she's patently not the best season pass card we've seen. I think that she is not what you want. Like, the problem with the move deck is that it's a move deck. I don't know how else to say it, but I think that she's a really cool tech card that, like, again, when she hits pool 3 and everyone gets access to her, or most people get access to her, you're gonna like lose some amount of games and be like, damn, that was a sick play, because your opponent Ghost Spidered and yoinked something that you weren't expecting. But like until then, I don't know that I'm going to be playing her. Oh, and I wonder how she works with Green Goblin. That would be really funny, to yoink a Green Goblin into a different lane that your opponent wasn't expecting. Like, you can play Green Goblin into a very empty lane so that you know it's gonna go to their side, but then you can yoink it to a different lane, and if it's full, like, it's still over there. It's still their fucking problem, but like, you get kind of the best of all worlds of like pulling it to a lane they're actually contesting, but also not accidentally leaving it on your side. So like, there's kind of, yeah, that's interesting. Again, probably not the best use of the card, but I just wonder if it works. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hope you find the content elucidating, enlightening, or enriching. I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.